some players, teams, and organizations took it too far. From players buying opposing teams' escorts the night before the game to keep them up late, a Hall of Fame wide receiver using an illegal substance to help him catch passes, to one team even cheating by using a snowplow in the middle of a game. These cheaters have etched their name into the game for all the wrong reasons. And just when you thought your team has never cheated, think again, because when you think of your favorite franchise, you probably only remember the good things about them and the legendary personalities. But what we reveal today is the downright biggest cheating scandals for every NFL franchise. Now, how can we not mention cheating and not bring up the Patriots? And while the Patriots are most notably known for the infamous Spygate and Deflategate scandals that even to this day still have those seasons and even Brady and his Patriots dynasty tarnished by those instances of cheating, they do have a long history with cheating even before Brady was around. On December 12th, 1982, the Dolphins and Patriots played the snowplow game in the middle of a New England blizzard. Conditions were so bad that the teams combined to attempt just 11 passes, while rushing got them a combined 375 yards and 0 touchdowns. Through the first 3 quarters, the two teams had only attempted 2 field goals, both being unsuccessful. And with over just 4 minutes left in the game and the Patriots about to attempt another field goal, the stadium's snowplow operator Mark Henderson, by mutual agreement, had been clearing off the field yard markers throughout the game, veered from his line cleaning duties, and cleared a spot on the field for New England kicker John Smith. Dolphins head coach at the time, Don Shula, went ballistic on the sideline, but Smith made the kick and the refs allowed it, and the Pats ended up winning the game 3-0. And the act wasn't a breach of NFL rules as there was no rule in place forbidding it, but a year later, the NFL banned the use of snowplows on the field during games. But this next guy should have been banned for what he did in the Tennessee Titans game. After the Dallas Cowboys scored a 5-yard touchdown on a running play in the third quarter, Cowboys offensive lineman Andre Grude was on the floor helmetless. Titans defensive tackle Albert Hainsworth, all 6'6", 320 pounds of him, came over and stomped his right foot directly on his face in a move that you would only see in the WWE. Hainsworth was then ejected from the game and suspended for 5 games. To his credit, Hainsworth did apologize for the incident, calling it disgusting, but Rude ended up with 30 stitches, and years later, the pair made peace and ended up becoming friends. But this next player in franchise bought something that not even best friends would buy for each other. Former New York Giants All-Pro and Hall of Fame linebacker Lawrence Taylor admitted to routinely hiring escorts on the eve of games to entertain opposing running backs in order to weary their legs. And he admitted he smoked crack cocaine and was high on it during games.
You right, I'd go through an ounce a day. There were times I'd be standing in the huddle, and instead of thinking what defense we were playing, I'd be thinking about smoking crack after the game.
Also, he borrowed urine from his Giants teammates to trick the NFL drug testers, and that's honestly just teammates helping out their boy. But two franchises that'll never help each other out are the Patriots and Bills. And after losing earlier in the season to the Pats, the Bills took matters into their own hands. In their 2015 home game against the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills illegally used artificial stadium noise to attempt and unsuccessfully slow down the Patriots offense. According to the NFL rules, noise of any kind that is under club control must stop when the play clock is running and the visiting team is in possession of the ball. And they weren't punished, as Goodell probably thought that that was good enough punishment after they were running their mouth the week before. And this next coach did one of the most childish things a coach could ever do by interfering in a game mid-play.
Ever in my life seen a coach on the sideline with his back to the play.
With just 6:26 left in the third quarter of their 2013 Thanksgiving night game, Baltimore Ravens receiver Jacoby Jones took a kickoff back and had to alter his path because Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin had stepped onto the field, and Baltimore had to settle for a field goal on that drive. And although the refs could have awarded Jones with a touchdown, the league did say that Tomlin should have at least been flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct, but they did fine him $100,000.
No joke. I saw myself on the Jumbotron. I dodged Jacoby because I saw myself. I never saw him.
Now, although the league didn't make an example of him, this next guy, they made sure to do so when Sal Alozzi did the exact same thing for the Jets during a game. He used to be the strength coach for the New York Jets, but he's no longer with the team, and for good reason, after he tripped Miami Dolphins special teamer Nolan Carroll mid-game on a kick return. And his blatant action drew attention to the coach's lack of sportsmanship, and he was suspended for the rest of the season and fined $25,000. Damn, that's a lot of cash. much. Another thing that players across the NFL drop racks on too are PEDs, and some players would buy any amount just to help heal an injury quicker, like Ravens superstar player Ray Lewis. After suffering a tricep injury in October, Lewis reportedly was recorded ordering deer antler spray.
Did you supply Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis with deer antler extract?
Look, man, all I know is I went to sleep and I had 2 antlers on my head. When I woke up, dog, I only had 1 antler. Look, hide your wives, hide your kids, hide your antlers. They're coming for you, man. It's not a game out here. It's not a game.
Deer antler spray contains one of the NFL's banned substances.
Banned in football, banned in baseball, banned in the state of Alabama. It's a movie.
Lewis, however, was never suspended for these allegations. And the Ravens even reportedly gave PEDs to players like Deion Sanders, Asa Jackson, Haloti Ngata, and Jimmy Smith. Damn, that sounds like a sticky situation. Not as sticky as to what the Chargers got themselves into. During their 2012 game between the Broncos, the Chargers were caught allegedly for using stickum on towels and had to pay a $20,000 fine for not immediately following the instruction of game officials. And speaking of NFL history, even the only undefeated team in NFL history has a scandal of their own. The Miami Dolphins hired Don Shula as their coach in 1970. However, before that run, Miami had to fork over its 1971 first-round pick to the Baltimore Colts, as they were caught with 3 counts of tampering in order to hire Shula. Shula was still head coach of the Colts in 1969 when Dolphins owner Joe Robbie approached him with a contract to sign. It was determined as cheating, and Miami was punished for it. But this next cheating team did it in their own Super Bowl, and even helped them win the game. Prior to Super Bowl 37, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Brad Johnson paid some guys $7,500 to scuff and break in the 100 footballs that were to be used in the Super Bowl. Johnson, who led the Bucs to a 48-21 victory over the Oakland Raiders in Super Bowl 37, says he broke the rules to make sure the footballs in the game were more comfortable for his hands. At the time, Johnson struggled to grip wet, cold, or out-of-the-box footballs and was forced to wear a glove in the preceding NFC Championship game. But damn, that's some great communication, I guess. And with communication, it's vital in football, but using illegal means to gain an advantage is strictly prohibited. Former Cleveland Browns general manager Ray Farmer learned this the hard way when he was suspended for 4 games and fined $250,000 for sending prohibited text messages about play selection and personnel usage to his team's sideline during games. And while the Browns didn't lose any draft picks, the incident highlighted the NFL's rigid stance on illegal communications. And although the Browns got lucky, the Colts used technology in a much crazier way to hear play calls using hearing aids. And while they're most notably known for their Suck for Luck campaign, there was a more recent revelation by former offensive line Tariq Glenn, as he noted that his team used hearing aids to hear Peyton Manning control the line of scrimmage.
Check Brown Richmond 96 double. 96 double. Check, oh, what a flare, what a flare.
But this one will likely not result in a punishment, as it was all the way back in Manning's rookie season in 1998. And even though the Colts did use hearing aids, I'm sure this next team would have loved to have the unauthorized tapes they got on the team they were playing. In 2010, the Broncos self-reported that a former team director of video operations had videotaped a portion of the San Francisco 49ers walkthrough practice before a game between the two teams in London. And what's cheating without mentioning the most recent Super Bowl champion Chiefs? The Chiefs were found to have illegally tampered during the recruitment of wide receiver Jeremy Maclin before he officially became a free agent. The team lost a 3rd-round draft pick in 2016 and a 6th-round draft pick in 2017. And despite the tampering, Maclin still ended up signing with the team on a 5-year, $55 million contract. But one team's rules that were as simple to follow even said that they encouraged cheating.
Raider rule number 1, cheating is encouraged. Raider rule number 2, see rule number 1.
And the Raiders complied in a number of ways, whether it was illegal pads, too much stickum, Al Davis snooping around the sideline, or any other advantage they could take. It was cheating. Now, similar to the Raiders, the Cowboys were involved in a salary cap manipulation during the uncapped year in 2010. And while although Invincible was a great movie that went over the Eagles tryouts, the Eagles held an illegal tryout in 1980. This resulted in a loss of a 3rd-round pick. And similarly, like the Raiders and Cowboys, the R words at the time were punished for cap manipulation in 2010. And what's cheating without mentioning Pete Carroll? Seattle was caught running illegal practices 3 times since 2012, which led to to some legitimate punishments against the team in 2016. And this next one is just downright crazy what the Bears used to do. George Halas used to cut holes in other teams' towels and put itching powder on the bars of soap. I mean, the old time stories about these things just cheating are awesome. Like Alex Correas, a former all-pro defensive tackle for the Lions, was caught betting on NFL games and associating with gamblers. He was forced to sit out the entire 1963 season for his infractions, which included $50 and $100 bets, which at that time were a lot of money. And when he returned to action in 1964, an official asked him to call the coin toss, to where he replied, "I'm sorry, sir, I'm not permitted to gamble." And just like that, in the early days of the league, Curly Lambeau and the Packers illegally recruited 3 Notre Dame players for their final game of the season against Milwaukee, and the Packers were kicked out of the league for just 2 years after they joined. All turned out okay for the Pack though. Lambeau bought the team back into the league via a $50 entry fee for the following year. Similar to the Bills, the Vikings and Falcons were both caught pumping crowd noise into their stadiums and admitted that the Vikings used fake crowd noise when his father, Dennis Green, was the coach there. But both teams staunchly deny they artificially enhanced their fans' cheers. Which brings us to the near end of our list, and after Joe Gibbs turned down the Panthers for their head coaching job, Carolina was set on hiring Dom Capers as their head coach. And although the Saints are most notably known for Bountygate, the Tennessee Titans have also claimed that the New Orleans Saints blew whistles on the sidelines during the Saints' 22-17 victory in their 2001 game in Nashville.
So high school football game, Johnny and June Cash, Whistle Monster. I'm going to go with Whistle Monster. This is mine. I think he was there helping us any way he could. You got a little press here, so that's my, I think that's my answer.
And honestly, if you're at this point on our list, the rest of the teams really just need to start cheating more if they want to start winning more. Like the Arizona Cardinals may be the team that has cheated the least in the league, and that explains why they've sucked forever. They have only had 2 PED infractions, and while the Bengals are among the teams with the most player arrests, they have been relatively clean when it comes to cheating scandals. And similarly, the Texans, just like the Bengals and Cardinals, have not done much wrong in terms of cheating scandals over the years. However, they have had 4 player suspensions for PED use, including Brian Cushing, who was coming off of a Defensive Rookie of the Year season, tested positive for a banned fertility drug, but did not end up losing his award. And while the Jags as well have not had many infractions, they have had some PED stunts and have been suspended for those 4 games as well. But while those don't seem to be that harsh at cheating, our final player is considered the GOAT of the wide receivers, and even he cheated.
So did I put a little adhesive spray on those gloves at that time? Yeah, I did.
Noted that even he used to do whatever he could do to get an advantage. The former 49ers great admitted in an ESPN interview that he used an illegal substance called Stickum on his gloves to help him catch the ball.
I know this might be a little illegal, guys. I just put a little spray, a little Stickum on him,
Rice later apologized, saying in a tweet that all players did it. And I don't blame the guy. He was just trying to get a fair advantage that everyone else was doing.
And ask me, once the players get to stick them all over their hands, and, it is so powerful. How do they go to the bathroom?
But as crazy as Jerry Rice is using Stickum, it's nothing compared to what Ndamukong Suh was allowed to do while he played, or how Bill Romanowski even threw a pizza oven at a teammate of his. And those are just some of the most hated players in the NFL. If you want to know more and see the full list, then click here.